بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔
شروع اللہ کے نام سے جو رحمان و رحیم ہے۔
اقرأ بسم ربک الذی خلق۔
پڑھو اے نبی اپنے رب کے نام کے ساتھ جس نے پیدا کیا۔
خلق الانسان من علق۔
جمے ہوئے خون کے ایک لوتھڑے سے انسان کی تخلیق کی۔
اقرأ وربک الاکرم۔
پڑھو اور تمہارا رب بڑا کریم ہے۔
الذی علم بالقلم۔
جس نے قلم کے ذریعے سے علم سکھایا۔
علم الانسان ما لم يعلم۔
انسان کو وہ علم دیا جسے وہ نہ جانتا تھا۔
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. I welcome the parents of BC and students wholeheartedly. Today we are going to just review the topics what I have taught you. So please listen to me carefully, and this is very essential part for you. Whatever you did not understand, I am going to review it. I start my class in the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Ameen. These are the topics for the review. Review verb. I think you know what is a verb. A verb is very essential to form a sentence. To construct a sentence, you need verb. Is, am, are. These are auxiliary verbs, and they form their negative forms by adding not. And the interrogative, we place the helping verbs or the auxiliaries in the starting of the sentence. Like, I am teaching you ELT. The negative will be, I am not teaching you ELT. That means after am, I have written not. So it becomes negative. Okay? Am I teaching you ELT? Am has come in the beginning of the sentence. So it has become interrogative sentence. Like in the same way, we have even are. We are students of BCS. We are not students of BCS. Are we students of BCS? So auxiliaries are very, very, very important. You must follow the auxiliaries. Okay? And now, today I have completed the verb, and there are, as you know, there are three forms of verbs. Base form, past form, and past participle. They are even known as present. Like base form is known as verb first form, past form is known as second form of the verb, and the past participle is known as the form of the verb, third form of the verb. Okay? And there are actually make verbs with regular and irregular verbs are very important in making sentences. Regular verbs, that means they just need ed, like play, played, played, laugh, laughed, laughed. D or D is joke, joked. So you just put the D and you have made the past form. Now, what are irregular verbs? Irregular verbs form their base forms. They don't have any rules. They don't have to follow the rule of ed or d. Like give, gave, given. Steal, stole, stolen. Write, wrote, written. I hope you might have understood. We have done the verb, and verb is very essential to make a sentence. Without the verb, you could, because verb shows the work of the subject. It shows the state of the subject, like the work of the subject or the action of the subject is Ali kicks the ball. Ali kicks the ball. What is the action over here? It is kicks. What does Ali do? Ali kicks the ball. Okay? And then what has been done to the verb? Okay? Rina is scolded. Rina is scolded. It is showing what has been done to the subject. What it has been done? She has been scolded. Then there is the state of the verb. The state of the verb is the chick is dead. The chick is dead. What state of the chick is? What is the state of the chick? The chick is dead. It is no more alive. Then I am hungry. I am hungry. What is the state? What I am saying? I am hungry. What is the state of mind? At present, I am hungry. So these show the work being done and the state of the verbs. I hope you might have understood very well. Now we have completed verb and auxiliary. Now come to the modal verbs. What are modal verbs? Modal verbs actually show the ability, permission, necessity. Modal verbs always show the ability, the permission and the necessity. And modal verbs have more than 3 uses. Like can. Can shows the present ability. It also gives permission, and it also has ability, permission and offer. Like I can teach English. This is my ability. What can I do? This is the present ability. Always can shows the present ability, and for permission, can I help you in this matter? Okay, and offer, can I offer you a cup of tea? So the modal verbs are used according to the sense what you might deliver. Okay, if you are asking for permission, then can will come in the beginning of the sentence. Then we have got another very nice, more polite than can, that is could. Could is more polite than can. Could shows the past ability. Can shows the present ability, and could shows the past ability. I could play marbles when I was 8 years old. That means now I can't do that. That ability is no more with me. It was my past ability. And could also shows the polite request. Could you please pass me the bowl of the soup? Okay. Then it also shows ability, I have told you, and then request. Could you please share this problem with me? That means I am going to offer someone. So you will say, could you please share this problem with me? Look at page number 110, 110. Here it is. Page number 110. These are the modal verbs. You can see this page and you can understand it more. Okay? We have done the modal verbs. Now we have got the participles. And I have told you modal verbs are called bare infinitives. They don't have the verb to form. And I hope you have done that assignment. I told you to write a story with the help of the modal verbs. You are not going to use the infinitive verb. I hope you have completed that story. Okay? Now participles. How are participles? Present participle. How do you form present participle? Okay? We form present participle by adding ing to the base form. Base form means verb first form. Okay? Like read. By adding ing, it will be present participle. Read, reading. Go, going. How did you form present participle? Only by adding ing to the verb first form. And present participle is used always in the present continuous tense. Present continuous tense shows an action which is in progress. It has not been finished. Okay? Example. I am teaching grammar. That means it is in progress. My action is in progress. It has not been finished. Next week also we will have a grammar class, or after the school opens then it will be grammar. So my action has not been finished. It is in progress. Okay. Now come to the gerund. After participles, gerund. How will you distinguish between present participle and gerund? Because both are having the same form, that present participle. Okay? Again, gerund form. So, see, verb ing as a subject is called gerund form. Why is it called a subject? As you know, in the sentences, the first word is known as the subject of the sentence. So I will tell you. Eating in excess is harmful to health. Eating in excess is harmful to health. This is the identification or the recognition of gerund. You are using the verb ing form as a subject. Suppose so, you want to tell in present participle, I will show you that also. Here is the action. It is not yet finished. What is that? I am eating fried fish. That means kha rahi hu. Okay? And this is the gerund verb. Eating in excess is harmful to health. I hope you have got the difference between present participle and the gerund form. Now we got the topic adverbs and comparison of adverbs. Okay? I told you before also what is an adverb. Adverb describes or adds the meaning to an adjective, a verb or another adverb. Okay? And comparison of adverbs. It is the same as comparison of adjectives. Like we got good, better, best, early, earlier, earliest. Okay? And wise, wiser, wisest. When there is one syllable of the word, we use er to form the comparative degree, and we use est to form a superlative degree. But many adverbs are formed by adding ly to the adjective. Okay? This is adjective, and adverb is by adding swiftly. What did we do? We add ly to an adjective, and to form its degrees, what we do? We write for comparative more swiftly, or more swiftly for most swiftly, to form superlative degree. Okay? And when we add ly to the adjective, this is adjective, and this is adverb. Okay? When we add ly to an adjective, it is called adverb of manner. Okay? So, whenever you do like that, what will you do? You will add more or most. And this is called adverb of manner also. And adverb of places, like here, there, tomorrow, next day. So, these are called adverb of place. Where is your book? It is here. Where is your book? It is here. So what do you mean by here? It is showing the place. It is here. Okay? So these are called adverb of place and adverb of place, and also adverb of time. Like when will you come tomorrow? Next day. So next day is the adverb of time. Next day, tomorrow, once a week, this is all are called adverb of time. I hope you might have understood. And adverb of frequency is often, okay, and we use a lot often. So this is called adverb of frequency. I hope you might have understood. Verb, present participle and past participle are formed by past participles are formed by D, by adding ed, t, en to the base form. To the base form. Like the work is finished. This is your verb first form or the base form. What did you add? Ed. That means this action shows the work has been completed. Okay? Then the glass is broken. What did we do? We add en. That means the glass is broken, now it can't work further. Okay? And then En I have showed. The flight has arrived. The action has been completed. The flight has arrived. That means now we are going to take off. The first topic is prepositions, definitions and usage. As you know, preposition shows the link between subject and object. Okay? The preposition shows the link between subject and object. For example, look here. The apples are in the basket. Apples is your subject, the basket is your object, and who is showing the link between the subject and object? In. In is a preposition. I hope you understood. Preposition shows the link between the subject and the object. Then here I have written points to remember. The preposition joins a noun to another noun. Okay? A preposition joins a noun to another noun. For example, there is a cow in the field. There is a cow in the field. Cow is also a noun and field is also a noun. So what is the link between in? Okay, the cow is in the field. Number 2, there is a cow in the field. Cow is a noun and field is a noun and in is a preposition. The prepositions joins a noun to an adjective. Like he is fond of tea. What is he fond of? Tea. So what is of? This is adjective and this is preposition and this is a noun. Are you getting? Then the preposition joins a noun to a verb, a noun to a verb. The cat jumped off the chair. There is an action, jumped off. Okay, this is an action word. So this is called verb, jumped. Cat is a noun. Okay, so what is over here? The preposition joins a noun to a verb. The preposition joins the noun to a verb. Did you get it? Then I hope you have understood. Usually the preposition comes before the object, but when it is relative pronoun, so the object will come at the end. Like example, here is the watch you asked for. Here is the watch you asked for. Here is the watch you asked for. If it is a relative pronoun, that you asked for, okay, that you asked for. If it is a relative pronoun, always the preposition will come, the preposition will come at the end, okay. Then in the interrogative sentence also, the preposition comes at the end, like, what are you looking at? In both the cases, if the preposition is with the relative pronouns, so the preposition will come at the end of the sentence, and if the preposition comes at the end, and if it is interrogative sentence, the preposition will come at the end. Like, what are you looking at? I hope you might have understood very well. Okay. Then come towards kinds of prepositions. There are two kinds of prepositions. like simple prepositions, prepositions and compound prepositions. I will tell you what are simple prepositions. At, by, for, from, in, of, O-double-F, of, on, out, through, till, to, up, with. These are the simple prepositions. Compound prepositions are about, above, across, along, among, around, before, behind. I will discuss some prepositions over here which we are using in our daily life, like in. Sometimes you get a confusion in. We use in with place, still, condition. The teacher is in the assembly ground. That means she is standing for some time. She will be back in the class. The teacher is in the assembly ground. It is a condition one and it is used for a place. Then come on. On is also place, still, condition. See, this is the book. Where is the book? The book is on the table. Now it is not a permanent place. I can pick it up and I can put it on the chair. So, still, condition is there. Then, through. This is called resource, skill, condition, still, condition. Here is a window. Okay? She is looking through the window. That means to see out of the window, we take the preposition through. The train is coming through the tunnel. Now it's not, there is no surety that I will be standing and be looking through the window. And the train might also not come from the tunnel. Then you got with. It is called agent, support or company. Like, I go to school with my friends. That means you are having a support. You are not going alone. With whom are you going? With your friends. So, with is a supporting agent. And then you got of, O-F, of, relation. It shows the relation. Okay? Ali is the son of Ahmad. Ali is the son of Ahmad. And O-double-F means ending physical or activities. Switch off the lights before leaving the room. This is called, what is it called? Ending physical or activities. When the activities are over, so I will tell the teachers, switch off the lights before leaving the room, or I will tell the students, switch off the lights before leaving the classroom. Then come to. To means going direction. Where are you going? I am going to school. Or even you can say, I am going to market. To is a direction. It shows a direction. From. Coming direction. When you are coming back from school, if anyone sees you, your mother or your siblings, they will ask you, are you coming from school? Are you coming from school? So what is from? From is a coming direction. To is going direction. And from is coming direction. Then come to for. Time period. I have been working in the BCS for the last 6 months. That means I am showing you the time and period, the date since I have joined the BCS. Then there is another for. That is called self-reference. Of course, you all have favorite teachers and you get something for them. So you can say, this gift is for you, teacher. This cup of tea is for you. That means it is self-reference. Whoever you want to give the gift, then you can use for. Okay? And then you got at. There are 2 uses of at. One as place, you know, that might be certain. That might be certain place. I was waiting at the bus stop for you. That means it is a certain place where I was waiting for you. Then there is another one at uses before time. Whenever you will tell the time to anyone, so you will say, I will meet you at 6 o'clock in the evening. Whenever you are going to take, in the same way, you say the part of the day in the morning. But for night, we say at night. Okay? I will call you at night. Then there is above. Higher, upper, than, on or over. Where is the clock? Are you seeing the clock? Where is the clock? Where is the clock? The clock is above the green board. Okay. Then up for direction. Where are the children? The children are running. The children are running on the terrace. Then we got under. Particular shed. Now this is the table. And where is the chalk? The chalk is under the table. Where is the chalk? It is under the table. Then beneath. Beneath is also a reference to under, but it has a covered or concealed. It is covered or concealed place where you can see beneath. I saw daffodils beneath the trees. I saw a squirrel in the bushes or beneath the bushes. I saw a squirrel beneath the bushes. Then we got among. When we are talking about among, that means we are talking about more than 2 persons or more than 2 objects. Okay? Kindly distribute this cake among the students. Between means between 2 persons. There will be a secret also. Okay? Between 2 objects or 2 persons. It is resource moving condition. Aisha is sitting between Javeria and Larba. Aisha is sitting between Javeria and Larba. So what is the position of Aisha? It is in between the 2 girls, or you can say in the middle of 2 girls. Okay, then we have got now the present progressive. I have always taught you and I have told you the action which is going on at the time is called the present progressive tense or the present continuous tense. She is cooking food. She is cooking food. What is she? This is a verb, present participle. This is present participle. What is the formation? Verb plus ing. She is cooking food. Now how will you make the passive? In passive, the object will become the subject, and then you are going to use the base form be as is, am, are, and then this is the rule. Whenever they are the continuous tenses, you will use being. And cooking, if you see the present form, it is cook. So always in the passive, you are going to use the past form of the verb. Past form means verb's third form. Cooked will become cooked. Food is being cooked, and this is the agent by her. She will be converted into her. So what is the passive? First object, then the be form, then being is the rule of the grammar for the continuous tenses. Cooked, then we will use the past form, and then we will use the agent by, and she will be converted into her. Food is being cooked by her. Now past progressive tense. Past progressive tense means an action which was being done, some action was being done in the past. Suppose so if you ask me, so I will say that action which I saw and I have come, but I don't know what they are doing behind. Over here it is, we were listening music. We were listening music. Again, you have to make the passive. So first you will take out the object. This is the object plus be form, past form, that is was plus being, then plus past form, verb third form, and then plus by, and then subject. Okay, music was being listened by us. We will be converted into us. We will be converted into us. Then mother will be baking a cake. Mother will be baking a cake. This is your future progressive. Sorry, this is future progressive. Okay, this is future progressive tense. Mother will be baking a cake. So what is the object? A cake. And you got the same helping verb, will. Okay, object plus will plus being plus verb third form plus by, then plus subject. A cake will be baked by mother. I hope you might have understood. In the passive, the object becomes the subject. Okay, and this is the formula. We will use, if it is present continuous tense, be form is, am, are, according to the sentence. And then I told you, as a rule of the continuous tenses in passive, you will always use being and the past form of the verb cooked. Then the agent by, and she will be converted into objective pronoun, that is her. Okay. In the same way, music was being listened by us. We were listening music. First object, then the be form past was, then being, and then the past form verb third form listened by, and we will become us. In the future progressive, only little difference is there. A cake. No use of be forms. A cake, then we put will plus being plus verb third form plus by plus subject. A cake will being baked by mother. I hope you have understood very well. If there is any conclusion, then you can come to the management and you can take the time. Now come to the I told you essay writing is very necessary. It is called drafting. See, when I had showed you on the board, I had made one chart, key elements of essay. First of all, you must know how to write an essay. So this is over here, and I would really request you to photostate this picture and place it on the title page. Before writing the essay, photostate this picture, or if you can draw yourself, it's very good. And then you will come to know. See, elements of key. Actually, what is the definition of essay? Its literal meaning is to attempt or to try. In school, you are writing essays on trial basis. Your thought in good English, your essay will be excellent. Okay, so here it is key elements, unit 27, composition, chapter 50, key elements of an essay. Number 1, introduction. Always when you will write an essay, first you will write the introduction. And then what does introduction have? What are the elements over there? That presents the subject briefly in a few sentences. Suppose you are writing on a school. So you will write your name of the school, that is the introduction, and you will write about it. When it was established, who was the founder, like that. Then the second one is paragraphs. In essays, usually students don't make paragraphs. Essay needs paragraphs, that give more detailed information on the subject. That means you have to write details about the school. Suppose you selected the school as an essay, then you will write how many rooms are there, is there any library or is there any computer lab, science lab, bio lab. You will give all the description. Then it is evidence. You are going to write with the proof. To sustain the information given in paragraphs. That means you have written in paragraphs, now you will give the evidence, you will prove it. Then you got conclusion, that means the last part of the essay. To take the essay to its logical end, often expressing the writer's views. Whatever you are going to write, they will be your views for ending the essay. This was the elements of essay. I hope you have understood. Again I am saying you will photostate this or draw and you will paste it on the title page. Then letter writing. Even I have told you before about the letter writing. There are 3 letters, okay, known as private letters. Private letters are for friends and cousins, okay, and there is also one letter, official letter. Official letter means you are going to write an application to the head of the school or to any newspaper editor, so then you will write official letters. In private letters, friendly letters, you can use the contraction, you can also use language which is very friendly, okay. In English we say slang language, so you can use that with a friendly way, but in the official letters you will write point to point, no contractions, no proverbs, no idioms, nothing, okay. And first you are going to write to first you will write to the principal, then you will write the school's name for the application, okay, and then you will write your whatever you want, you will write. And in the end you will always write yours obedient or yours faithfully. In private letters you will write the sender's address also, and it will be a friendly letter. You must put the dates, current date, okay, and then you can write the letter. Follow the format given in the solution. I have given the format in the solution. Please go through it. This was a review, okay. And then I have already explained you private letters and official letters. I will tell them orally about these letters. I am telling you orally about these letters. I have given you the information how to write about the friendly letters, about the official letters. I hope you might have understood, and all these things are written over here, points to remember, okay. Once again I will tell you the preposition joins a noun to another noun. There is a cow in the field. Cow is a noun and field is also a noun. But who is joining? Preposition in. The prepositions join a noun to an adjective. He is fond of tea, okay. Fond of, okay, and this is tea. The preposition joins a noun to a verb. The cat jumped off the chair. Jumped off is a verb, cat is a noun, okay. So the preposition joins a noun to a verb. Again I recap this. Present progressive tense, she is cooking food. We always use the present participle with the be form is MR, and for the passive the subject will become the object, okay. The object will become the subject, and then the be form is, and then there is a rule for continuous tenses, being. Then you will use the past form, verb third form, then the agent by, and then you will convert she into an objective pronoun her, okay. Object plus be form is plus being plus verb full form, past form, plus by, plus subject. Then music was being We were listening music. Music is the object, but it will become the subject in the passive, and then you will write the be form, past form, was, past tense, and then being, and then the verb third form, and by, and then we will be converted into us. Then mother will be baking a cake. This is the future progressive. Future progressive always shows a plan. You have planned something to do. So what has mother planned today? To bake a cake. Mother will be baking a cake. Then a cake is your object, it becomes subject. Then will, then as usual being for the continuous tenses, and then bake, third form baked, and then you have the agent by, and then mother. I hope you have understood. I hope you might have understood. Okay, now come to the exercises I had given you. Open your books. I had given you auxiliary and modal verbs also in your assignment. Did you do the exercise 1? You had to match the sentences. You will do it in the textbook as well as it is a copy work. You will do it in the copy work. And then this is pair work. The statements below are not true. Work in pairs and turn the sentences into questions. Negative. Take turns to ask questions and answer them. Fish can fly. Is it correct? No. So, what will you say? Can fish fly? Can fish fly? The answer will be negative. No, fish can't fly. Then the same way, doves can swim. Can doves swim? No, they can't. Okay? Like this you have to do, and then come to the participles. I have showed you about participles. Participles formed by the verb ing form. Okay? There is a difference between gerund and participles. Gerund are known as verb subject. Like I had told you, eating in excess is harmful for health. I love eating fish. Okay? So this is called participle, and the word which I used, eating in excess, that is a gerund form. Then you had to do exercise 1. Pick out the participles in the following sentences. Again I will tell you, this work is done in the book as well as in the copy, and you will make all the title pages and the index. The index has been given in the solution. So after every subject you will make the index. Then you have got about here exercise 4. Pick out the gerunds and the present participles. Over here, I remember reading the book long ago. Is it a gerund or is it a present participle? As I have already explained you so many times, gerund takes the place of a subject. It is called the verb noun. Okay? Like preparing the meal required only a short time. What is the subject? Preparing. What is the subject? Preparing. So this is the gerund form. I hope you might have understood. Then you have come to the general tenses. Present progressive tense, it shows the action at the moment what you are doing. Okay. Suppose if I say, what are you doing? I am taking the video class. Okay. And then what is your mother doing? At the present, whatever your mother is doing, you will say in verb plus ing form. And then come to the essay and letters. I had I told you to write an essay. It is in the channel book, essay. To write an essay about your city. a town or village. But it should be about 100 to 120 words. So don't forget whether it is channel or whether it is grammar. Essay needs all the rules. So that's why I have told you elements of essay. You have to photostate or draw it and paste it in your copy. Then only you can write an essay. And then you have to make a colorful brochure. I had already showed you on my video class that what is Karachi? How is Karachi? This is the question of channel, but it is linking with this topic, essay. You should write about Karachi. Of course, Karachi is a multicultural city. We have having so many people living over here together, Sindhi, Punjabi, Urdu speaking, so many Pathans. So naturally we have so many dishes, kinds of foods, cultures, dresses. So you will write about Karachi in 100 or 120 wordings, and you will make a brochure on the chart. A colorful and very nice, you will be getting marks for it. It is your assignment. Okay, so I hope you might have understood everything. If there is any conclusion, you can come to the school management and take the time. And then letter writing also I have told you just now. We have got friendly letters, official letters, business letters. But this is not your age, so that's why we are not teaching you about the business letters. We have taught you about the friendly and official letters. I hope you might have understood very well. And if there is any conclusion, let me come and meet me, take the time from the management. And the work should be done very neatly because you are going to get 5 marks for the copy. Okay? And before coming to the school, you will have to complete your work. You will not get a single second also to work in the classroom because the schools are opening inshallah from the 1st Feb. And in the first week of Feb, you will have to give your examination. Okay? For semester final. So please be prepared. You will have to complete the work with all the details of the solution and don't do any work in pending. We will not give you time. And not only writing, you have to memorize everything. You have to memorize everything. So be ready, complete your work with the memorization, do neat work for the marks. I hope you might have understood very well. I hope you might have understood very well, and please look at the board again, once again, and do the work according to it. Okay, number 1, unit 5 is the lesson 1, get the message. This is a dialogue between Tom and Meg. Tom wants to buy a new mobile phone and Meg is worried because he had recently bought a mobile. So she just asks Tom about why are you purchasing the new mobile again. So he says that there is no, I don't have any video camera in that, no facility of giving message. I can't receive message wherever I am. So I need that mobile phone. So Meg says, you can also come home and answer your emails by the computer. So he says, that's all right, but I can't give the messages where I am. So I need that, and there is a video capture tool. She says, okay, you can do that, but always save money for the rainy days. This was the message. Get the message, lesson 1 that Tom wanted to buy, and you have to do get the message, question number 1. Turn to your pages, and then you will see on page number 12. Here is the page number 12. Okay, and I have already explained you about the words and phrases over here. I had even made you highlight in the classroom about these words and phrases. You have to do question number 1. Do you have a mobile phone? Okay. What do you use it for? If you have a mobile phone, what are you going to do with that mobile phone? What is the use of that mobile phone? You have to write the answers in your own wordings. Then question number 3, who is Barry? Where is Tom going to buy his new mobile phone from? How is Tom's new mobile phone different from his old one? Why does Tom want a mobile phone that has internet access? Why doesn't anyone send Tom any emails? Then question number 3, words and phrases. Here are the words and phrases, and you have to take out, find phrasal verbs and expressions in the dialogue and match them with their meanings. It isn't possible for me to come. You can find it from here, and even have made you write in the copies. Then come or visit. That's not important. That's interesting. Old-fashioned, communicate. You have to do this. It is in the solution sheet. This all is copy work. All this is copy work. Then to speak or not to speak. Actually, this extract is telling about the languages that are dialects. Dialects means the languages which has been disappeared from the world, like Latin and Greek languages have totally been disappeared. They are known as dead languages. Why this word is used as dead language? Actually, for speaking for speaking any language, you need 100,000 people to speak about that language. Then only that language can survive. Otherwise, it will be disappeared. Like Greek and Latin, and there are so many over here. Now, in the recent days, Chinese language is in danger of extinction, because Chinese has many languages, but the speakers are very few. So it can also be a dead language if it is not used properly. I hope you have understood, and still people over ICA and all, they want to speak and they want to keep their language alive. Let's see, because they always believe hope sustains life, and they are trying to survive their language. Come to the exercises. Question number 1, how many languages do you think exist in the world today? Do you know of any language that nobody speaks anymore? Read the text and compare the information in it with your answers. Then read the text again and write true for true or F for false. Students, you must keep on reading. Reading is the best skill. If you read, you can understand what you have to do. And if you don't read, you will not be able to do the exercise. I don't want you to be parrots. I always tell you. Number 1, there are over 6,000 languages in the world today. Dialects are languages. The Chinese language is in danger of extinction. A language which has 100,000 speakers in it is a dead language. People will speak Manx on the Isle of Man. People in Siberia used to speak Udhihi. Nobody speaks the local language of Cornwall anymore. Okay, these you have to do. Then come to the words and phrases. Prepositional phrases. Whenever phrase is used with the preposition, it is called prepositional phrase. If it is used with a verb, it is called verbal. Okay? Now here are in bed. In is a preposition. You have to use in this dash, the children wanted to come to London with us, but now they don't. B, Tanya doesn't feel well. She's been dash all day. So you have to take out the correct answers from here: in bed, in the beginning, in danger, in pen, in my free time, in other words. These are prepositional phrases, and you have to fill the blanks You can fill the blanks in the book as well as the copy work. All this is copy work. You have to show it in the copy. Then we have got listening. I had given the listening transcript 2 to 3 times. I hope you might have understood. You have to do according to the listening transcript. Then lesson 3. Lesson 3 is what? Words and phrases. Okay? Here it is lexical set, the internet. Match the words and phrases with the definitions. Okay? Here you have got search engine. Which definition is right for that? You have to match it. You have to do in the book as well as in the copy work. Okay? And then listening. Again, I had made you listen the transcript 2 to 3 times. You have to do that according to this. Okay? And then speaking. I have given this to you as an assignment. If you don't understand, I'm again telling you about it. Where do you think you can find on these websites? Here, these are the website. Okay? See, these are the website. Find it out from the internet. And what information you get from it. Do you like it? Why? And if you don't like it, why not? You have to mention it. Give the reasons. And the last one is, it's your own. Do you have a favorite website? Do you have a favorite website? Why do you like it? If you have a favorite website, so just write, give the reasons. Why do you like it? Okay? It should be in a paragraph with all the informations. Then here there is an email. As you know very well, email has been very common nowadays. First we were going to write the letters, but now the technology has, the advanced technology has dominated the letters. Now we just give the emails, within few seconds you get the reply. This is the email about Spencer. What did he write? Okay, you have to give the answers over here. I have given you. This is like, you know, we say na, comprehension. This is like a comprehension. Read this email and give the answers. Why did Spencer write the email? What language does Spencer use to convince his friend that what he has found in worth looking at? Okay? And then this is the writing task. I have given you the writing task. You have to write an email to your friend that how are the classes going on, like video classes, online classes, the technology teaching. Did you enjoy, did you understand? You have to write an email to your cousin or to your friend and give the informations. And please use this tip. Use this tip again. Then we got urban life. What do you mean by urban life? See, there are two lives over here, urban life and rural life. Rural life is known as the village life. Urban life is known where the people settle in the cities. Where the people settle in the cities. Here, this is a dialogue between two friends. This is Julia and Kate. Kate is a close friend, or might be she is a cousin. She is very much worried because Julia has moved from the inner part of the city towards the suburb area. Okay, I will tell you what is a suburb area. A suburb area is that area which is not connected with the city. It is out of the city and the population is very less and the traffic is also very less. Such areas are very peaceful, calm and quiet, and people enjoy living over there because of the peaceful area. Like, I will give you example, like Steel Town, Gulshan-e-Hadid, these are called the suburb areas. These are not connected with the city. So Julia has moved to the suburb area. Kate is very much worried. She asks her, have you settled down? She says yes. since a week I have been there. Have you completed your work? She says, no, there is a lot of work to do still. So she says, how is this area? Why have you moved from there? So she says, I could not stand the noise and the traffic in the inner city. Now I have moved to suburb area because this area is very quiet, peaceful, no traffic sounds. So she said, and it is very safe. Then Kate asked, is it not very hard to get to your work? How will you come to your work? She says, no, it's quite easy to come because there are, the trains are there to take me over there. So she says, the ticket might be expensive. So Julia says, yes, of course, the ticket is expensive, but the house rent is also expensive, but it is more better than that flat where I was living. Here I have got rooms, large rooms, spacious rooms, and a lovely garden for the children. Then she says, then what about you were interested in restaurants, concerts, programs, music, what will all this do? So she laughs and she says, oh, it's not a big dealing. I did not move to the South Pole. I'm still in the northern part of London in Cawley, and it is quite easy to come and go over there. So this was the discussion between the two friends. Only a friend is worried about another friend. Remember, my dear students, always practice dialogue, even if you are at home with your siblings, with your friends, with your mother, because these dialogues will accelerate your English speaking. Okay? And try to keep on practicing. Now you have got the work to do. Discuss the following. Where do you live? In the city center, in a suburb, in a town, or in a village? First of all, you will have to write where do you live. If you are living in a city, then you will write I am living in a town and write the name of the town. What do you like, dislike about living there? Now, what do you like living over there? You have to write your likings, and what do you dislike? What things you do not like? You will have to give the reasons and also write about them. Now this is the listening. Okay? No, you have to read the dialogue and answer the following questions. Take the correct picture A, B or C for each questions. Here there are the questions. Where is Cawley? What is Julia's new house like? Which is the correct ticket? Okay? You will read the dialogues and you will tick mark over here, A, B, C. Then we have got record-breaking cities. Record-breaking cities. We are going to, I have told you about La Paz, Geneva, and there is also about London. La Paz is a very, I will read it for you again. La Paz is a city that usually stands out. It is the largest and most important city in Bolivia. It has a population of 700,000 and is an unbelievable 3,600 meters above sea level. High up in the Andes, La Paz, which means peace in Spanish, is the highest capital city in the world. Interestingly enough, the capital of Tibet, Lhasa, is actually 50 meters higher than La Paz, but Tibet is no longer on independent country, so La Paz holds on to the record. La Paz, you have listened, La Paz is a city that really, how many population? 700,000 population is there, and it is 3,600 meters above the sea level. And now it has dominated Tibet, and now it is wholesome. Now the second one is Geneva. Geneva in Switzerland holds the record for the most expensive hotel room in the world. At a night in the Imperial Suite at the President Wilson Hotel costs you £33,000. The suite, which takes up a whole floor of the hotel, comes with a private pool or private life or a dining room which seats 26 guests, a library and 4 bedrooms all with a view of Lake Geneva, and what's more, of the windows and doors of the suite are bulletproof. It is not a joke if you visit Geneva, so please note that the hotels are very, very expensive. Okay, but they have got everything in use as modern technology. They have got bulletproof doors and windows. Now we will come to, there are over 120 cities across the globe that have underground railway systems. The first underground railway opened at London back in 1863. It is now the longest underground transport system in the world. Around 3 million people use the London Underground every day. However, it turns out that the Moscow Metro is the biggest underground system in the world. There are 160 stations and 8 million people use it every day. See, nowadays even we have started even in our country underground system. So the very first underground system started in London, and every day how many people are passing by it? 160 stations and 8 million people use it every day. Again, there is a question. Can you tell which cities they show? Do you know anything about these cities? If you read the extracts, you will come to know what are these cities. This is all copy work. And then come, read the text again and correct the following statements. Here the statements are wrong. You will read the extract and then you will write the correct statement. First you will write the false statement and then you will write the correct statement. One in black and one in blue. Lhasa is the highest capital city in the world. B. La Paz is higher than Lhasa. A room at the President Wilson Hotel costs £33,000. The London Underground is the busiest underground system in the world. Less than 3 million people use the Moscow Metro every day. Read the extract. Again there is listening. I have read this listening transcript about 2 to 3 times, and then you can do this. It is all in the solution sheet. Then these are the words and phrases. Page number 42. See over here. Okay. Unit 6, Lesson 3. Words and phrases. Look at the table below and decide why you would go to the phrases mentioned. Tick the appropriate columns. It's over written here, sports facilities. Then it's written market, stadium, zoo, theme park, museum, gallery, shopping center. Okay, where do we go for shopping? Of course, shopping center. And for entertainment, where do you go? Here are the boxes, you will tick mark over here. This is the book work, not the copy work, okay? Then I have made you listen this transcript 2 to 3 times. According to that, it is in your solution sheet. You will do this also in the book, okay? Then come, discover St. Petersburg, the city of the stars. T is silent. Reading and writing. Discuss the following. Which is the most beautiful place you have ever visited? This is your own wordings. Which is the place you have visited, the most beautiful place, you will write it. What did you like about it? Suppose if I say I have visited, Afghanistan or any other place, I will write which place I like the best. Even you have to write like that. Then read the following brochure about St. Petersburg, the second largest city in Russia. and tick the topics that are mentioned. Here it is written food, history, sites, location, language and people. Back in 1703, the Russian Tsar Peter the Great ordered the construction of the new city on the river Neva. He called the city St. Petersburg. Peter the Great was a king, and back in 1703 in Russian Tsar, there is a place Russian, and it is Tsar, construction of a new city on the river Neva. The king decided to construct a new city on the river Neva. Okay? He called this city St. Petersburg. What did he call this city? St. Petersburg. Today, St. Petersburg is one of the most beautiful cities in Europe and one of the world's most northerly cities. It is famous for its amazing palaces, cathedrals and numerous bridges. What is this place famous for? It is famous for amazing places. If I get a chance, I will surely go and visit St. Petersburg, and you will also go over there. And there are amazing places, cathedrals and numerous bridges. What are cathedrals? Cathedrals are the holy places of the Christianity, and during the Christmas they go there and they sing songs and all, like we recite now. The statue of the bronze horseman is one of the most popular sights. People used to believe that the statue protected the city from its enemies. Take a walk down to St. Isaac's Cathedral, the biggest and most beautiful church in Russia. Did you know that 14,000 people can fit inside it? Now there is the statue of the bronze, and it is known as horseman, and people believe that it protected from the enemies to enter the city. Okay? And if you go walk down to St. Isaac's Cathedral, it is the largest and most beautiful church in Russia. Did you know that 14,000 people can fit inside it? Next to the cathedral is the colonnade, observation point. Observation point. Climb 300 stairs for an amazing view of St. Petersburg. Don't forget to visit the Winter Palace. It was the winter's home of the Tsars of Russia. Inside the palace, there is the Hermitage Museum, which houses one of the greatest art collections in the world. Before you leave, be sure to look at the river Neva from one of the St. Petersburg's bridges. The view is beautiful in the summer. Okay. This is the best place to experience white nights. See children, I have read this extract because you have to tick mark. When I read, what did you find? What did you find? Was there any discussion about food? Did I read about food? Did I read about history? Did I read about sites? Did I read about location? Did I read about language? Did I read about the people? You have to just tick mark all these things over here. Okay? Write this extract in the copy and do this work in the copy, and even you have to write which is the most beautiful place you have ever visited. What did you like about it? This is your own answers. Okay? You will write a paragraph, use for the places adverb of places, time, prepositions, adjectives to make your passage interesting. Then I have given you the number 3 writing task. Write a text about your city, town, village which will be used for a brochure. Your text should be between 100 and 120 words. Text means an essay. And even I have showed you about the brochure. I had made it and I had displayed it in my video class. I hope you have seen. Here you have to write about your city, Karachi. Okay, it should be about 100 and 120 words. And even I have given you the key elements of how to write an essay. So please follow the key elements of the essay and then you will write the essay. Okay, and then you will have to make a brochure on a big chart. Okay, and you will give it to me, you will get marks for it, and it should be colorful and very interesting. Then you have to follow the tip. When you write a description of a place, page number 43, before you start, write down some ideas. Whenever you are going to write something, first roughly you write on a page what ideas you are getting in your mind. Okay, and then develop your ideas and write about the most important or interesting features of the place. Then you will write which is the most important feature over here in Karachi. Okay? Divide your text into paragraphs. Don't forget, your essay must be divided into paragraphs. Use a variety of adjectives to make your description lively. What you have to use? Adjectives. Because adjectives always make your description lively, interesting. People would like to read again and again. Use the imperative to persuade the reader to visit the place. Like, imperative means, come in, step in my room, come, do the shopping from Imtiaz Mall. Such wordings are called imperative and they are used in the brochures. I hope you have understood very well. All this is your copy work, you have to do in the copy. Some things I have shown you, and then this is the last one, speaking. Okay? It is about Kelly Harris, Alvin Miller and Patricia Coleman. Page number 42. About Kelly Harris, it is written about her. She is 22 years, she is a secretary. She likes clubbing, swimming, dislikes sightseeing. Number 2, Alvin Miller, he is 40 years, bank manager. He likes water sports, eating out, dislikes shopping. Number 3, Patricia Coleman, 36, she is 36 years, drama teacher, likes art, nature, dislikes crowded places. Here over here on page 43, these are the cities according to them, which number 1 you will first of all photostate these pictures and then you will paste the picture and then you will take out what is matching over here. Okay, Washington DC, business and political center, museums and theaters, lots of universities, famous historical buildings. Is it matching with the picture 1? Then lakes and lots of parks with sport facilities, theaters, biggest shopping center in the US. Then beautiful beaches, great nightlife, lots of shops and good restaurants, theme parks. See, I'll tell you once again, you will not get all the answers according to these pictures, but which is matching, you will write it down. I hope you have understood. It was the review of the channel, Unit 5 and Unit 6. Now I think it would be easy for you to, everything is in your solution sheet. Don't be worried. You can do it very easily and properly. Okay. Have a nice day. Your review of channel has been completed. Use the solution sheet for the work. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz. Take care of yourselves.